Let me welcome all of you back, and we're almost at the middle of January, and most of you close site. Some close site 15th of December, resuming site 15th of January, meaning that 1 month, very valuable 1 month, is lost. That is not desirable. We will not allow it to happen in 2024. We have to agree. If we are going to take off 1 week break, we have to agree. But we will not allow contractors to close site at a very critical period that we need them. But there are very few contractors that worked all through. I saw the posting by South, Samatech. Some of the contractors worked also up to 24th and resumed quite early. So that's very commendable. Going forward, we must have to track our progress based on the timetable for every project. We have not really looked at our timetable to find out that delays have consequences of payment by contractors of liquidated damages. On our own part, we also have the problem of delayed payments. We are addressing our own shortcomings, but you have to address your own, because the two will not cancel themselves. They must be positive or negative, which has direct consequences on the side of the contractor or the client. But let me say that we mean business in 2024, and we want to work with contractors that will mean business with us. Unfortunately, I was once a contractor, and there are tricks of contractors, but there are also some contractors that are very genuine. We don't want where you have a job, you keep it with all kinds of excuses. We don't want that. And so going forward, we were said to have inherited certain amount of debt from contractors. And this debt, we've escalated it to Mr. President, and the National Assembly people are aware. So what we have done is to set up verification committee, about 6 of them, 1 per zone. So you are directed to come forward, all contractors, for these verifications, the verification of the debts, and you have to give us a proof from scratch of that these debts were generated. And the verification team, they have the powers and the right to look at it and say yes or no, or to disagree with it. So I would like you to please take it very, very seriously, because 1.5 trillion said to have been the debt is not a joke. And so it is very important that you do this. Going forward also, you have requests, and I agree with you that since May 29th, where the subsidy was removed and high exchange rate, that both factors have direct consequences on the project cost. Nobody can pretend that it doesn't. So this committee is working with the CR, DPP, the Ministry of, the Department of Bridge and Design, and other relevant departments. We also work with you within the context of this verification to review the projects. So it's very important that you take this very seriously, because when the projects are reviewed and agreed, then we'll be taking it to the national, to the BPP and to FEC. So it has a process. And so the earlier we do this, the best for all of us. And I'm happy that Mr. President is aware of what we are doing and is waiting for our result. Again, the economic team of Mr. President has also set up a committee to look at the same thing. But we are the ones to feed them with facts. And of course, they have the right to verify the facts and ask for more documents. And that's why detailed documentation from contractors are very much needed. I've seen some documentation that they sent. That is not what we need. We are looking at the certificates you generated in all your jobs that occasion the debt. So you have to analyze the certificate, giving us, the takeoff sheets. And I think this is what they need, because for me to defend for 1.5 trillion that I didn't know how it came, but my directors may know, we need a lot of work to convince Mr. President, convince the National Assembly and the economic team of Mr. President, of which I'm a member. So this is very important, and so we already exposed into solving this problem of the verification. And I want to give you comfort, assurance that every verification that has merit will definitely be paid for. I want to assure you of that. But we need to be able to defend it before the BPP, before the Federal Executive Council, before the National Assembly, before the economic team of Mr. President, and of course before Mr. President. So this is very, very important. And such documentation are also very good, because anyway, anytime, you are called upon, you already have your projects duly verified and documented. And we've seen, in some occasion that we don't really have enough, cross-fertilization of information. Sometimes contractors are paid and we are not aware, of such payment. Don't forget that we have sukuk that is not paid directly by us. Don't forget that we have an NPC tax credit and PIDF. Until they feed us with the information we may not have. And so that's why you need to bring your documents. And then we'll be getting all payment details from PIDF, that's NSIA. We also be getting details from sukuk. We're getting details from the NNPC for phases 1 and 2. So by going forward, we are going to have a mechanism, automated mechanism, so that moment payments are made, it will trickle down to the relevant departments, the Ministry of Works, for our documentation, so that if we press one button, then all that we needed, will all come out. So this is a comfort assurance, and we are not waiting for all to be verified. If Arab contractors come up to verify their projects now, for example, we will push it to BPP. We are not waiting for everybody to do their own before we start pushing. No, there is first come, first served, so this is very, very important. So review, we have agreed to review. But all those people that say they were on work and erosion came and cut the work, and so we can't reach out to the erosion point, they're jokers, because we will resist you making jobs out of the contract. We will not allow that, because we don't have all the money. So you stick to the contract that you have been given to. Don't make more jobs, because we will not allow it. And of course, for you to vary any item of work, the engineer representative, which in this case is Kuti and Engineer Sia and the Director of Bridge Designs, going forward, if it is bridges or if it's roads, they must have to know. And I know they escalated to me and PAM Secretary, and we agree or disagree. This is very important. But your request in such occasion must be backed up with your technical, details, and our geotechnical department must justify it before you bring it to us. So this is very important. So I want to plead with contractors to go back to site. We don't have a working relationship if we cannot move you to site, taking some small risk. We must commend, contractors like Arab Contractor. I have to be very open to you. Jito Construction Company, CCACC. And I tell you, in the Port Harcourt to Aba Road, I begged CCACC to go back to site. And they went back to site, not minding that they're being owed, Today they're on site, I have not gotten money. But we are not stupid. We have fought in the budget for them. We are also fighting in other elements of payment. CCACC also went to do the Tom Melan Bridge without a kobo for 2 months. So we need to commend contractors who are working in confidence with us openly. And today they have been paid for that Tom Melan Bridge. But we needed, it was at a critical time, and we needed, friendship, in our relationship, and they did it. We have Ganaja in Kogi State. Is it correct? Ganaja, yes. Yeah. And that place was impassable. And we begged Jito to please come and do something for us there. And I've been working, I've not been paid, but good enough, we've gotten money. And so, CR, we have to do something so that they should be paid this week or early next week. This is very important. Sometimes in Aba, it was impossible. It was impossible. So I begged Arab contractors. They did that. ROCC also helped us in Lagos, Ibadan. I was there, and the section that takes us to the airport, that section, there was even tanker that fell there. So I begged them, irrespective that being owed. There may be other contractors that, both the controllers and so, beg them in the same direction, and they helped us. So I needed to say this because we want relationship. We want relationship. If we ask you to do, because we will not take you, out there and leave you unpaid, So going forward, we desire this relationship, and it will be very, very important for us. We are getting a young lady, I don't know if she's here. What is her name? Bukola. Okay, she's going to be working from the office of CR. She's going to track is going to serve as desktop, officer, to help you and help B&D and the CR to chase all our certificates in the FIRS. I've had just a meeting with him, and he has assured me of fast tracking any certificate we bring there. We've been able to eliminate, consultants, that it was delaying the payments, but we took an undertaking. Both BD, CR, and myself, we had to do a written undertaking. So when we push you, please know that, our reputations are at stake. So all this thing is to remove the bottlenecks and, move forward. I've also intimated him that we have to review the contracts of, the tax credits of NNPCs 1 and 2. And I've given my reasons, and so he's not averse to that. And I'm also taking it to Mr. President today by 2:30, if we can finish. So it's to move ahead, and we start sending the documents to BPP and to FEC. So I want to assure you that we are all working for you, we are fighting for you, we are not against the contractors. So going forward, CR will open a platform, for all the contractors on NNPC projects with the desktop person, and then a lot of load will be lifted off me, so that the girl and the Kuti will help and BD to track, certificates that are delayed, to track payments, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to be doing a memo to Mr. President. If you have a contract and there's money allocated to you and you are not doing it, and some people have money allocated to them that have exhausted it, we're going to take from your contract to pay them, so that we move forward. So it is important that you take this seriously and know that the money allocated to you is no longer static. It can be moved. So what's your name? Bukola is going to be the text SA to me on NMPC projects. You can sit down. Now, going forward to track and inject, more strength in our projects, we've divided the regions into 12. So every region has 2 directors reporting to CR and reporting to BD, as the case may be. Now we have 2 special, we call them directors special projects. And I will tell you the special projects, and they stem from the office of the Honorable Minister. But they also report to CR and report to BD. And of course, PAM Secretary, the directors also report to PAM Secretaries. And if I need information directly from you, I will also call you. I'm also in the platforms. I can comment, I can make suggestions, I can make directives. in the platform. So the directors are required, 14 of them, to open up immediately platforms, that includes the PAM secretary, the PD, the CR, myself, and contractors and controllers, and if there is any engineer that is a high person that's working there. Let me announce that Mr. President and FEC, have directed that only qualified, registered, satisfied Korean engineers are allowed by contractors and Ministry of Works to be on site. I would like directors to look into that and eliminate all quacks. We like to have a project manager there who is certified Korean registered engineer. We like to have the chief engineer, and then we can have other site engineers that are not, Korean certified maybe, who are learning on the job. But those who are taking decision and could sign papers must be Korean certified engineers. And we don't want to come to site and then we don't see qualified, satisfied engineers that are, holding, forth. So these special projects there are 4 sections of the project from Lokoja to Benin. That is isolated from South-South projects and given to Engineer Obuago, Director Special Projects South. Are you here? Can you stand up so that they see you? So today, all the people, he has the powers to hold meetings with you, and he takes care of the projects. And so he has an arrangement with the CR on quote unquote that are required in terms of relationship with controllers, in terms of getting one, consultant or chief engineer as the case may be, to employ so that we do day-to-day supervision. And I want to see progress report in these 14 sections, every day. And I would like to see the directors commenting. I would like to see the project owners commenting. We don't just send something there and nobody's commenting, please. Thank you. So these are the 4 projects that I isolated. It's also to supervise some of the palliative works. One is in Delta State, the other one is in River State. Those areas that have been washed off by flood. We have described it. This is very important. And then we have other 4 special projects, to be handled by Engineer Bakari, Director Special Projects North. And the projects are, of course, 2 of them are NMP's funded projects, but is it Funtua, Sokoto? Yeah. Yes. And Zamfara. Is it correct? Yes, it's continuous project, but in 4 sections. And so, Engineer Bakari, can you stand up so that we see you? Yes, just turn your very fine beard so that they can see. Okay, so we've isolated these 4 projects, working directly under Engineer Kuti and the BD as the case may be, for easy of tracking and to help you. And these people also, we have access to the desktop officer in terms of pushing for payments and certifications. The BPP has approved over 80% of our requests on palliative projects. So those who indicated interest to do palliatives should please move forward to the ministry to collect the award letters and conclude documentations. We've gotten 50% of the palliative works, graciously released by Mr. President. And so he wants to see action in all the 36 states and Abuja. So please, money on these palliative repairs are not a problem. So, and we have directed FEMA that, engineers to collaborate with the controllers and then track the repairs. And every of these repairs has a, GPS, and so before the work is started, you need to do the photograph, which the CR and BD, they have carefully done and analyzed and came up with the designs and bill of quantities. And so when the job is done, the same thing. And the FEMA controller will have to, sign. Then or the chief engineer, as the case may be, our controller will sign, and of course the director will sign, and it will now be sent to the relevant department for processing. And so we will also appeal to directors to ensure that through the governors of the various states that the commissioners of works will also sign. We've opened a website and the phone numbers to the public to track down all badly constructed projects. And then we have public week where we will reward such publics that we expose poor construction all over the country. And so contractors are requested to know that they are being monitored for a fee, because if you give us valid information on badly done job, then the controller of works of that state would have put himself or herself in trouble, and then the contractor will also face our clauses of termination and blacklisting. So we are open to the public for their criticisms and commendation, and that is what the Renew Hope agenda requires. Going forward, we will not allow you to do your earthwork without the sheet foot rollers. And the right number of equipment for our earthwork should be done. If you are required to do milling of project, please go and buy milling machine. Please don't take out our asphalt and throw it away. We don't want you to do that. And we have banned surface dressing in all our roads. Whether you are doing asphalt or full concrete, no more surface dressing, because it doesn't help. It's the source of the failures on our roads. And so we are also doing our reviews to accommodate, shoulders on concrete, on concrete. And this is very important. We have not banned the use of asphalt, but we moderate the escalation of prices on asphalt. And in 2024 going forward, some projects will still be on asphalt with the shoulders that are on concrete, and some will be fully on concrete. And there are some places that we must have concrete roads fully and totally. This is very, very important. We will be looking at, can we have about 150 kilometers of road completed in 2024 in each state? And what does that mean? It doesn't mean much. 150 kilometers, if we have, 5 contractors put together working in each state, 150 divided by 5 is 30 kilometers. So you can see that it means nothing. But Nigerians will want to see, can we complete 150 kilometers of road in each of the 36 states and FCT? And if you multiply it, you now see the total number of roads is over 4,000 kilometers. And that would be a good way to start. We're not talking about palliatives, So this is what we are looking at. And if it's dualized road, it's just 75 kilometers. But let us start, and I'm sure that we will definitely get there. Finally, when you are quoting, I'm giving you an expo. When you're quoting for our jobs, you have your unit rates, for example, concrete. And then you came up with basic material rates that make up the concrete. We will want a proof going forward. And if you don't put it, we will not pay VOP. We want a proof of how you use the basic rates. For example, in concrete, you have the cement, you have the aggregates, sand and the chipping. Okay? Then let us know how you combine this. The Procurement Act is very good because it has given us a percentage which is allowed for profit and overhead. So put them together and tell us how you arrive at the concrete cost. Because if you put concrete at, say, 300,000 per meter cubed, and you say that chippings, is, 7,000 per ton. Cement is maybe 5,000 naira per bag, for example. And sand is maybe 20,000 per meter cubed. I want you to add it together and then put the procurement, legal rights of how much is your profit and overhead. Let us see whether you get 300,000 per meter cubed. Because if you don't get it, we won't pay VOP again. We are being cheated. Because we have to marry the two. And in analyzing our bids going forward, if you cannot prove that your unit rates are arriving at your basic rates, then you have intention to cheat us. And we will not like it. I know this aspect you will not like it. But it's thief catch thief. So that is it. We must make sure that our pricings are very reasonable and that you are also paid very much on time. So it's your right to do the right pricing and our right, and it's your right to do the good job, and it's our right to now pursue your money. But pursuing this money, the president, the society, they want to see remarkable improvement to match this amount of money we are calling. That's very important. And so these are the reasons why we have called you. So far, so good. I commend my ministry staff very highly. In all honesty, when to talk about civil servants, it's not, the bad aspect people talk doesn't happen in my ministry. Why? Because this is the only ministry that you cannot see any pending file in any of the departments while we close. Sometimes we close by 7, sometimes 8 p.m. And we come to work on time. Thank God for the initial quarrel and misunderstanding. Now we have understood ourselves and they are as very transparent and as honest as possible. And we all come together to agree on issues. We do many meetings, which is very important. So the left will know what the right is doing. And I'm happy that they have placed God and the people first ahead of anything. But I want to appeal to contractors. Do not work to sack the ministry staff. Stop fishing for unauthorized documents. Because if we catch the officer, you would have sacked the officer from work. Any document you need, go straight. This ministry is very much open. There's no document you ask from the legal to finance to CR to BD that to bid and planning, that you not get. So don't go to put our staff into trouble by photocopying official documents. It's not good. Any document you want, we'll give to you. And any price we give you, we are ready to defend it, to analyze it before you and defend it. And if you are doing a bad job, stop telling us that you test your material from Germany or from Hong Kong. Our materials has to be tested here. What is bad is bad. Let me appeal to all the contractors to go back to site, especially Lokoja to Benin. We have done the scoping, we've done the review, we are sending to BPP. But if you cannot start based on trust, we will get the contract out of you. We get it out of you. After all, when you were bidding, you also said you have some money to start. We can't lose this dry season. And the clauses of contract allows us to terminate based on the inability to perform our own. So if we don't have money to immediately give you to start, we can terminate it. Some people have started there, I don't want to call their names and call those who have not started, but they are looking at me. So if you are too wise that you can't start while we look for your money, then the money is there, but it's just to complete the documentation. So I appeal to the 4 contractors to please go ahead. In the northern section, Mother Cat has taken the lead, and I'm very happy with what they're doing. So let other people emulate them and stop this politics, hide and seek games. Let me commend our controllers. Some of them are here, especially the controllers in Lagos and Ogun. You know, they have done extremely very well. We commend people openly so that others can learn. You know, I saw where the Lagos controller performed the job of the minister by taking the two, metal this thing to close. I was very proud of her when that was done. So let every controller know that he or she is a big man and represents the engineer, represents the minister, you know, in every circumstance. So again, I want to thank you very, very highly. If there are questions you want to ask the contractors, fine, we are here to answer it. Anyone I can't, my directors are here. They know everything. And then the press, so that we don't keep you out of your sight for a long time. We also try, you know, we like names in this country. You know, it's not the monk, the hood that makes the monk. You know, so whether FEMA is in the Federal Road Authority or it is Federal Road the Authority, you know, the important thing is for FEMA to do the work that FEMA was requested to do. So that is, for me, more important than this. I'm not aware of this. I will not support it. I will support FEMA to do, you know, her work. That is more important to us. You know, we like names in this country. Well, it's not difficult, and we are thinking this will be the minimum requirement for our contractors, you know, to complete 150 kilometers. And we are saying this 150 kilometers, if it's dualized, it's just 75 kilometers. You know, you'll see some ongoing projects where one contractor is handling, like Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano, is about 375 kilometers. Dualized, which is 750 kilometers. So what is not done yet is 125 kilometers and another 20 kilometers. So it's about 140 by 2, you know, so roughly 300 kilometers. And so this special project is excluded in our proposal of what we are to complete in this year. But it's a commitment from this ministry that we will complete this Abuja, Kaduna, you know, Lagos, Ibadan, the second Niger bridge, you know, the 2 bypasses in Asaba and Onitsha, you know, under PIDF. So these special projects are excluded from this proposal. And so 150 kilometers of road in each state, if you have 5 contractors, of course we have sometimes 7, 10 contractors working in each of the states, you know, for federal government. So 5 contractors engaged in 150 kilometers of road, it's just 30 kilometers, you know, and if you divide 30 kilometers by 12 months. So it's roughly less than 3 kilometers per month. Yeah. So it's the minimum we're expecting. And our contractors are quite capable. I'm just saying this, you know, looking also, you know, into, you know, our funding. If we have all the funds, they can do even 300 kilometers, you know, in each state. So, but we are planning, you know, this year, can we do a minimum of 150 kilometers outside the special, you know, project funding of an MPC, project funding of private sector, project funding of, you know, the PIDF. This one is based on budget and a special intervention fund that we use to do that. So we expect to have much more if you bring the funding from PIDF, the funding from, you know, this private sector, you know, tax credits like Dangote, MTM, BUA, and so on and so forth, and then you bring the NMPC phases 1 and 2. So this is what we intend to do.
for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.